First off, I want to start this video with a slight retraction. I told you all in the last video that Racodon was a woman. I was under that impression because about a dozen people told me that was the case. This may still be true, but I have found no evidence of Racodon's gender one way or the other, except for some people claiming that Hasbro referred to Racodon as a she at some point without posting links or evidence. It's not a big deal if I was wrong about the gender of a character who doesn't exist, but I wanted you all to have the most accurate information possible, so I'm going to tell you to take my declaration of Racodon's gender with a grain of salt. So anyways, all the videos on my channel where I talk about figures that haven't come out yet, or stuff we can only guess at, tend to do exceptionally well. Like, twice as good as all the videos surrounding them well. That could just be a coincidence, but I think what it means is that what people really want is speculative content, and I can provide. Because in my last video on this stuff, I made several glaring omissions, and there's been some stuff announced since then as well. Immediately after posting the last one, I was beset with people telling me I forgot this or that figure. And to be fair to myself, I only forgot one of them. That doesn't change the fact that I had a lot to cover that I just didn't. So how about we go over that stuff now? Let's start off with the one figure I actually did legitimately forget. Shattered Glass Blur. So this is a retool of the Studio Series 86 Blur figure, which if you know my channel, it's a figure that I consider to be very off-putting. So how is it that this one that's supposed to be the unsettling redesign with the creepy messed up head is actually the better looking design with the less ugly, less off-putting head? Can someone please explain this to me? This is really just the same thing in better colors with a less fucking hideous face, which is hilarious when you consider this is the one with the gouged out, bleeding eye and evil smile. I see we're getting the stupid welder accessory again. Does anyone actually want this useless piece of crap, especially as a tag-along with this completely different version of the character who never used it? Why is this $30? It's just a deluxe. Seriously, why is this the price of a Voyager? Car mode is looking pretty sweet though. I love everything about it, especially the electricity decals on it. Those are pretty sweet. Though, once again, we have a bad photographer who didn't finish the transformation on this by lifting up the seat. Insert toilet seat joke here. What can I say other than it looks better than the normal one, which isn't a bad figure, it's just needlessly ugly. Next up, let's talk about Rynox again for a second. Last time, I complained that his chest faux formed and people told me how wrong I was because that makes it look right, so why care? Well, you know what doesn't look right? That. The jaw doesn't open and become the chest because the chest faux forms to achieve the correct look, but that means the jaw doesn't open. Shocking, I know. Which, the upper part of the jaw being open is actually a massive part of Rynox's look. He's supposed to have a jaw chest and a jaw hood with teeth pointing at the back of his head, so it's faux forming to achieve something that it's failing to achieve because it's faux forming. I'd also like to point out that it's too angular. Rynox's chest was a much more organic shape than that. And you know what? While we're on the subject of Beast Wars, why don't I cover the other figure they announced that I already crapped all over? Scorponok. I mean, this just sucks, and let me show you why it sucks. Transform Element, the company that did the OP leader, is doing a Legend Scale Scorponok, and it looks like this. It's Legend Scale, and it looks perfect. There is nothing I would change about this thing except for the scorpion head, which is the wrong color for some reason. And the common response to that is, well, that's $40, of course it's better. But that is a fundamental misunderstanding of the differences between third party and Hasbro themselves. Were Hasbro to make the exact same figure using the exact same design and increase the scale of it to deluxe, which it isn't actually that far off of it seems, they would be able to sell it for normal deluxe prices. The difference between Hasbro and third party is the margins. It is more expensive for a third party to produce an identical figure to Hasbro than it is for Hasbro to produce that same figure. Hasbro has better deals on materials and transportation as well as bigger factories. Their economy of scale is so much better. This is $40 not because they made it nicer, therefore charge more. This is $40 because they do not have the capability to make it cheaper, and if they charge less, they won't be able to make their money back. All that said, look at this thing. The legs are all individually articulated and everything, along with the tail having, what, 6 segments if you count this one? This blows the kingdom out of the water. It can take its realistic scorpion mode and shove it. All I can say is, I got this pre-ordered and I will do a review of it when it gets here. Also, this is semi-unrelated, but I have been trying to inform people of this one for a bit. There's a company out there now called APC Toys, and they're making new Transformers Prime figures. I was really bummed at having to rate the red RC so poorly because Prime fans so rarely get figures, and I was really hoping to highlight something for the fans to look forward to. But I just couldn't in the face of that terrible thing. But hey, if you love Prime, there is now these guys making stuff you may want to check out. Hope they can satisfy. Let's talk about the figures I didn't cover because I didn't give a crap. First up, let's talk about this thing. I already had a Racodon when this was announced, and as you can probably tell by my last video, I wasn't exactly enthused about that thing. It doesn't suck or anything, but it doesn't really make me want to get a second one. Now that I look at this though, 1, I didn't notice before, but it's actually a Triceratops and not a Styracosaurus. So that's different, but they couldn't have changed the robot head too? And 2, this does look way cooler than Racodon. It comes with a bunch of blast effects from other figures, but this time in ugly pastels. I already have these like twice each. Come up with some new ones and put them in cool colors to make me want them, damn it. Also, does this one look like it's got a turbine in it or something? But yeah, I can't really be bothered to care about this thing. The mold wasn't exactly good enough to motivate me to want to get 2. How many times did I say 2 in that sentence? Skids. I really enjoyed Skids in the IDW comic. I don't even remotely remember him from the show. He is basically the most background of background characters in the whole series. I swear he has like maybe 2 minutes of screen time throughout the entire run. I can't even begin to explain how much of a non-entity Skids is to me. I don't even think he looks cool. Scratch that. He looks cool to me in a very stupid way. He looks like a late 50s, early 60s mid-budget sci-fi show robot. The kind of show where they just put silver paint on an actor's face, stick a weird cap on their heads, cover them in shoeboxes, and call it a robot. I actually watched a lot of crap like that growing up, and the weird, completely at odds red accent parts like the fists, crotch, feet, and shoulders are totally something they would have done in one of those shows. I might actually be talking myself into wanting this right now. His alt mode is lame as lame can be. I know Thew likes it because it looks like a car he might actually see, but I have to point out, in America, we don't actually go for that style of vehicle over here. That ugly munchkin hatchback from the 80s aesthetic, yeah, that's not something you'll ever see on the streets around here. This is abhorrently ugly and not a good disguise if you're in the US. Also, the fact that the doors open, along with the trunk and hood, plus the fact that there's an engine under that hood, is giving me Alternators vibes, and that is not a good thing. The last few things I collected for years was Alternators figures, and let me tell you, even though they were the most recent additions to my collections, I didn't ever transform them because those things sucked ass to transform. Everything about making them into fully functional vehicles also made them into a fully functional pain in the dick to transform. They were my gold standard for not fun transformations for a long time. And you can sit one of the minifigures in there. I'm reminded of a Jobby sketch. Can he move his arms out? All of the pictures have his arms down at his sides. It could be good, but man, I don't care about this. I am legit shocked that they chose this as their next masterpiece over someone like, say, Jazz or Cup or Grimlock 2.0. Lord knows that figure needs an update. I swear they did this just to prove Thew wrong. I am super psyched that they are teasing Skyfire will be the next MP, but I swear to God, if it faux forms to shit, I will lose mine. I do not want to have to buy the Fans Toys one. Reboost, the same figure as the last one, but with an Optimus head sculpt for some reason. And notice his arms are also always at his sides. I have not found any pictures where his arms are away from the body. Color me even less not interested. Or is it more? Screw this thing. Okay, let's finally cover the stuff I didn't forget because you can't forget what you didn't know about in the first place. I didn't have any clue the core class figures were announced. I didn't see the actual event myself, I don't even know where to go to see the event. After it was over, I watched a bunch of videos by other people covering it, and I went around to all the online stores to check the new updates pages. And none of the videos I watched covered these, and none of the stores had them for pre-order. Not even the Hasbro Pulse. Hell, even now that I know these actually exist, I had a seriously hard time tracking down pictures of them. Let's start with Racodon. Holy crap, do I not care. Oh, just a green repaint of Vertebrake with no changes? No thank you. The only thing that gives me pause on this is that Rotorstorm was shown off in multiple pictures with the wrong head, so maybe it's wrong here too, but if it's not the case, I would never pay money for this. Core Class Soundwave. This looks fantastic. I actually think it looks way better than the Netflix version. The robot mode is on point, and the alt mode is actually less kibbly and more accurate than the Voyager figure. It does have the alt mode cat ears, which I do think they could have done a different way to avoid, but this does at least mean that it will have a toe tilt. My only real issue with it is the shoulder cannon is clearly going to parts form. But outside that, he's coming with a lot of accessories for a little guy, so color me excited. Now, let's talk about what they just announced. Shattered Glass Megatron. And you know me, I've said it many times now, I hate parts forming and I've had enough of this mold. It wasn't even that good to begin with. It's solid, but it has not just a few weaknesses. So why am I in love with this thing? Several of you clearly expected me to hate this, and I would have expected it too before I saw this myself. Okay, criticism time. The white plastic is bad. It looks more like cream than it does white, and with the black it comes across like an Oreo. It also reminds me too much of the terrible 8-Face figure. But, you know what? The deco of this thing still looks so good. I was getting seriously bored of the look of this Megatron, but this is a complete reinvigoration for me. I love black and white as a color scheme, and the electric blue accents pop beautifully. This alt mode is a bit bullshitty, but hey, it's cool so long as they fixed the droopy ankle. And we can see that it comes with all the accessories, so if you don't like this mode, then you can just form the tank one with wings. Or no wings, if you don't want that. And it will still have a way doper paint job. Yes, it's parts forming, and I would have been way happier if it wasn't, but the mold already was one, and this stuff doesn't just look like bullshit. It actually gives it more presence rather than just looking like some crap they're tacking on. Why is the cannon like that in this picture? Too bad the shield can't clip onto the chest, that would have looked awesome. Also, the box is cool. I thought they were doing away with large windows like this. What can I say? I'm confused by how much I like this too. Before I sign off, let me crap on Commander Class Rodimus one last time, because we should not have gotten a G1 figure for the Commander Class of Kingdom, and if we had to, then it should have been more. How much happier would people be if they made it a 2-pack of Galvatron and Rodimus together? Galvatron, a figure that probably isn't justifying the leader price, and Rodimus, a figure that absolutely isn't justifying Commander. Remove all the bullshit accessories that no one gives a crap about, and make it a double Voyager box. I'd be down for that, who wouldn't? But you know what it really should have been? A Beast Wars figure. And I came up with the best thing it could have been. I dare you to tell me I'm wrong. A Commander Class Combiner. We could have gotten Magnaboss or Tripredacus. Think about it, 2 Voyagers and a Deluxe, or maybe 3 Voyagers, or maybe a leader and 2 Deluxes, or even a leader, a Voyager, and a Deluxe. There are so many ways this could have gone. Would anyone feel even remotely cheated with a Commander Class Combiner? Would you not be thrilled? It opens up so many possibilities. 3-figure combiners could become more common, and it would have given us a big bad Beast Wars character to cap off the Beast Wars line. Why are we getting a G1 figure as the special centerpiece of the Beast Wars line? Magnaboss, Tripredacus, come on, it was right there, and it didn't bastardize the concept of the Commander Class just 3 figures in. And if it was Tripredacus, we would have had an evil Commander Class for the first time. And that's not half of what I have to say, but it's enough of what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So, if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please, share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.